And so, listen, the fact that he admitted that it was a mistake and he's certainly going to be there next year, I think is great. I don't think there's any daylight between the president and the American military. I think they know where he stands. He got that bill passed, which is going to lead to a major refurbishment in all of our strategic armed forces around the world. And so I think they know that there's no daylight between them and him. And so I'm glad he just came out with it. I think we have to do more of that, frankly, is just be direct, look directly into the camera, and speak honestly about things. So I think on the Veterans Day issue, I sort of hope, given the goodwill that the president should have with the media, the military, they give him a pass.
But
see, that was a Freudian slip.
You say there's no daylight, but he attacks military leaders, Admiral McRaven most recently, and this is just in a long line of attacks, whether it be leaders or a Gold Star father or a war hero who is a political adversary to him. I mean, that doesn't square that there's no daylight.
Okay,
no daylight between him and generals or military leaders who agree with it.
But Brianna, it actually does square. I think what I'm talking about are the servicemen and women of the country as it relates to political adversaries that happen to have military experience. Obviously, it doesn't square because he's sore at them and they're sore at him. And so they're going after each other a little bit. I have an enormous amount of respect for John McCain. Last summer, I recommended that the flag get lowered, whatever those differences are. I would love to see the president just rise above those differences, recognize there's over 2 million Americans in the service, countless number of veterans, and I think it's super important. As it relates to Admiral McRaven, I read his book and obviously have seen his valedictorian speech many times. I have a huge amount of respect for him. I've invited the Admiral to our SALT conference in May, and he's accepted my invitation. And so I would want the president and the Admiral to rise above whatever the political differences may be. If you remember, it had to do with Director Brennan's security clearance and the revocation of it. We can debate that again. I think that was litigated on TV several months ago. But the Admiral was upset about it. And so when Chris Wallace is asking the president about it, he's going to fire back, which he is, that's predictable from the president. If you're saying stuff about him that he doesn't like, he's going to fire back. And so I think we've seen that over and over again.
Anthony, real quick.
Doesn't make it right, Brianna. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just trying to explain it.
Well, you can't defend it is the point, right?
I'm not defending it. Like I said, yeah. I would prefer that he not do that. But I'm also explaining to you why he is doing that. And so, look, he has a difference of opinion with me. We're still friends. I think friendship requires honesty, and I think the most loyal people are very honest and direct. It's the sycophants that are more into like selfishness and self-survival. I think it's very important to tell our friends honestly what we think because we want to see them do better.